Now for Florida State, we got some spring intel out there as well. Talked to our team over there at War Champ, the Florida State On3 site. Again, get a membership there if you haven't already. They feel like this is the most talented team that Mike Norvell has had since being in Tallahassee. Say, whoa, JD, hey, they went undefeated last year. They didn't lose a game in the regular season. ACC champs, and this team is more talented, maybe less proven, but again, the feeling internally is there is potentially more talent on this roster. The wide receiver room specifically, you lose guys like Keon Coleman, guys like Johnny Wilson, but I tell you what, man, there's a lot of buzz around the top-end speed in that room. A lot of buzz around A1 Malik Benson, who transferred from Alabama to Florida State. And when he got to Alabama, he was one of the top Djuco wide receivers. He might have been the top Djuco player in his cycle when he got there. The bottom line here is what you saw from him at Bama is different than what they expect to see from him this upcoming year at Florida State. And they think they're going to be able to push the ball vertical a little bit more with that entire wide receiver room. But Malik Benson, a guy that's gotten a lot of buzz thus far. They're really excited about the defensive line. And again, this is another position group where you're saying, hey, well, you lose Jared Verse, you lose Braden Fisk. Totally true, but the guys they got in-house right now, Patrick Payton, keeping him on that roster for a second, looked like he might be a portal guy, keep him in Tallahassee. That was massive. He had 7 sacks last year. I expect for him to be an absolute force this upcoming season in Tallahassee. Daryl Jackson, you know that name, but you're not sure exactly why if you're just a college football fan at a macro level. Daryl Jackson transferred last year from Miami to Florida State, and then the NCAA does what the NCAA does and just does things that doesn't make sense. He didn't really get to play last year. He got to play in the bowl game. Didn't get to play last year, though, during the regular season. They feel like he's had a phenomenal development process since getting to Florida State. The words that I was told, the description I was given of him, he looks like an alien. He's listed at 6'6", 330, and I was told he's cut up a good bit. So, tell you what, you're 6'6", 330, and chiseled. God bless the poor soul who has to block you. Marvin Jones Jr., a transfer from Georgia, edge defender. It's a 5-star cat now in 2022. And just because you didn't light the world on fire at Georgia with how deep that roster is, how deep that defense is, does not mean that you can't play some ball. So they feel good about the defensive line. Yes, you lose some key pieces, but I think they feel pretty good about where they stand going forward. Another transfer, when you talk about Florida State, of course, you can talk about transfers. Earl Little, defensive back transfer from Alabama. They've been really impressed with him so far. They feel like he's a guy that's going to be a pretty heavy impact guy for them this upcoming season. Earl Little, of course, a defensive back who listed, I believe, at corner in the portal. He might play some nickel for them, so keep an eye on where he ends up playing during these upcoming spring scrimmages. Interesting note here, Earl Little played for Patrick Surtain Sr. when he was at American Heritage in high school. That was his defensive coordinator. Patrick Surtain Sr., of course, now is the secondary coach in Tallahassee. So there's already some chemistry there. They're kind of speaking the same language. He knows how to coach Earl Little to the best of his abilities, knows what language he responds best to. So I think that's encouraging if you're a Florida State fan to have a guy like him trending the way that he is right now. And then the question everyone wants to know, how's DJU doing? Because DJU and what he did at Clemson left something to be desired. He leaves. Clemson sort of gets worse. He goes to Oregon State. They score 30 points a game. Like, hey, what does DJU to bring to the offense right now? Similar thought around spring football for most new quarterbacks is true about DJU. He's acclimating. He's getting his feet underneath him. It's a new system. It's a new place. It's new teammates, new receivers, new offense. Everything is new for DJU. So you're seeing some good. You're also seeing some things that need to be cleaned up. The exciting thing with him, for what I'm hearing right now in Tallahassee, is the fact that he can stretch the ball a little bit more vertical than maybe previous quarterbacks have been able to on that roster. I feel like he's got a big arm, and if they can dial it in how they want to with that top-end wide receiver group they have, with the top speed they have in that group, sky's the limit for this offense. They feel really, really excited about that. So DJU obviously holds the key to how multiple they can be offensively, but the vibes are high in Tallahassee, as they should be, and there's a lot of reason to be excited right now with the spring report out of Florida State. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.